Up next, we have Professor Mervyn King. He is a patron of the Conscious Companies organisation and the Good Governance Academy, yet requires no introduction as a legend and an icon of corporate governance globally. Ladies and gentlemen, we're privileged to please welcome Professor Mervyn King.
Thank you. But I'm pleased again to be here at the Conscious Company Summit. I want to take you back to the middle of the 19th century, when wealthy families were tired of investing in failing businesses and were left to pay creditors and employees, although when the business failed. So they started refusing to provide working capital to start new businesses. The government in the United Kingdom at the time said, well, it's essential that we create new business to create jobs. And the intellectual leaders of the day, like Lord Gladstone, said, why don't we, the government of the day, the representative of society, create an artificial person who they can provide money and get a share, a part of this artificial person. And having invested that money as working capital for the artificial person, they will have no duty or responsibility to the company. The clergy were alarmed. The leader of the Anglican Church at the time, Lord Thurlow, said, who are we to create a person? Only the Almighty can create a person. And we're creating a person that has no mind and no conscience and cannot be charged with treason. Notwithstanding, by 1855, the United Kingdom government legislated to create the limited liability company. And that meant that on a subscription for the shares in this artificial person, that the subscriber, the initial shareholders, once they had subscribed and put their money in, that was the end of their duty or responsibility to the company. The concomitant for this protection was when the business failed, they went to the back of the queue after creditors, after employees, and then got paid. There was nothing to say when persons were elected to give mindfulness to this incapacitated artificial person, what their duties were. But it was clear that these corporate leaders became the steward and guardian of the company's assets and its business affairs. And so, at the end of the 19th century, going into the 20th century, the law on guardianship of human beings was well developed. If I became the guardian of an incapacitated human being, my duty was loyalty to him, good faith, to take great care of him. Whatever skills I have, I would contribute in planning for his or her well-being. And I would do my homework and really understand what his or her circumstances were. Good faith, care, skill, and diligence. And that became the duties of a director of this incapacitated artificial person, the company. And we moved to the 21st century, where the governance architecture is still that the shareholders appoint the corporate leaders to give this incapacitated artificial person mindfulness and consciousness. What directors don't understand sometimes is that they are the conscience of the company. Because the company, by definition, is always innocent. It's incapacitated. So it cannot mindfully and with intention commit a wrong. But when something happens which is adverse to society, the persons to blame are those who are its mind and its conscience, namely its corporate leaders, its directors, individually and collectively as a board. So consciousness in regard to corporate life is absolutely essential. And Brenda brought this to life in discussions with me, and I agreed to become patron of the good of the conscious company. And the conscious company is a company where its leaders have realized that they are the stewards of the company's assets and its business affairs, that they have to lead, they have to look after it as they would look after an incapacitated human being. And they are the conscience of the company. And if they apply their consciousness well and rightfully, then the company will be seen as a good corporate citizen. So the conscious company is critical, provided your corporate leaders are conscious corporate leaders. Welcome to the 2024 summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor King. I think it certainly reflects so positively on the purpose of our event today when we contemplate giving mindfulness to a company and the role that leaders play in really taking that forward. I think companies, obviously, the core of any business is to make a profit, but the aim of that company must extend beyond simply that profit motive into purpose, vision, and direction for the organization. And consciousness is really at the core of those thoughts.